Ang mga pananaw at opinyon ng pag-uulat ng mag-uulat sa programang ito ay hindi ang pangunahing posisyon o pahayag ng pamumunuan ng organisasyong ito. The views and opinions expressed in this live report are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the management of this organization. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Editorial. Today is Wednesday, March 9, 2022. I am Carlos Miguel Kanahashi, your host for today, and together with me is Miss Lady Jane Eleazar Florese for our technical assistant for today. We are broadcasting simultaneously on InkluRadio and on the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. We shall commence our presentation in just a moment, and we will be back after our commercials. Now this. Hmm.
Meron akong pangarap para sa aking pamilya, para sa aking kapwa, at para sa bayan. Kahit mahirap, kahit masakit, mahal ko kayong lahat. Kahit anong mangyari, ikaw, ako, tayo. Ating isisigaw sa mundo. Inklusibong may tatag, angat buhay itatahak. Matapang pa rin tayo. Ang tropa, hindi nang iiwan. Ang senyas, isang instrumento. Ilang beses matumba, tayo'y huling babangon. Luman ang ating pinanggalingan. Tayo ay muling luluwa. Para sa pangarap, para sa pamilya, at para sa bayan. Tayo ang ida. Tuloy ang inclusion.
Welcome back to Editorial. This afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss to you about what the art of inclusion is. So without further ado, here now is our topic, The Art of Inclusion. Ate Lady Jane, PowerPoint please. While I'm reading this paper, please. PowerPoint is ayun. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, here is the art of inclusion. It is our belief that participation in the arts can promote a stronger sense of agency and a fuller sense of self in these students and persons with disabilities. In this regard, the following two ideas are key points. The first idea is that the arts can contribute to the development of cognitive abilities. And the second is that education in the arts provides students with the cognitive tools needed to make sense and meaning out to the world. For by becoming human beings capable of expressing their own unique voice, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities will be better able to engage in our culture, thereby inhabiting a more equitable place in our society. As well, participation in art activities promotes tolerance for ambiguity. This is particularly relevant for individuals who are cognitively challenged because these students often exhibit less than flexible thinking in the context of their everyday environment. This rigidity may be explained by psychological need in order for the world to use a structure, ladies and gentlemen, that is easy to follow and to understand. The ability to perceive many possibilities without having to decide which one is right promotes flexibility of thinking that can be transferred into areas outside of art activities. The ability to accept tension and even enjoy the uncertainty of the moment encourages these students to take risks both with their thinking and their behavior. A decrease in fear and anxiety contributes to a sense of well being that eventually translates into increased self confidence. Increased self assurance is significant in relation to individuals with cognitive challenges, as often they have decreased academic and social standing. As well, the experience of tolerating a certain amount of uncertainty is advantageous because these students are often less comfortable with changes in routine. In addition, the ability to tolerate ambiguity may increase the individual's capacity to adapt to new and stressful environments as well as situations outside of the realm of art. In the arts, you have the opportunity to take an interdisciplinary approach to learning. By combining elements of music, dance, drama, and visual arts, in order to explore a concept in multiple ways. In addition, art activities offer students the opportunity to become absorbed in the flow of creative process, which increases the ability to concentrate. This is because, as Eisner states, in the arts, a special level of focused attention is realized, a form of attention that is seldom called upon in most of the situations we experience. Eisner also makes the point that besides offering a means to increase concentration, the arts help to develop sequential thinking and promote intelligent planning. The arts offer a powerful means for students to come to know themselves and to engage in the process of recreating themselves. Few academic subjects afford this opportunity. As well, art offers the means to imagine new ways of uncovering who we think we are. The ability to reimagine ourselves is particularly relevant in relationship to students with intellectual disabilities because even though students with cognitive disabilities may have limited expressive and receptive language abilities, I would argue that their imagination is not impaired. Why? Because finding ways to articulate and to express the content of their imagination is critical to these persons with disabilities being able to tell their own stories. In our culture, we tend to equate intelligence with the ability to reason well and to express ourselves in a factual manner. This definition of intelligence can be traced back to the turn of the century, when Alfred Binet invented the intelligence quotient test, or IQ test, as a way of assessing the mental abilities of an individual. This approach or system of measuring the mind's potential has resulted in a rather one dimensional view of intelligence. It has also resulted in a curriculum that heavily favors subjects that follow set rules and offer measurable results. According to Dr. Howard Gardner in his book Multiple Intelligences, Gardner offers the view that the mind is multifaceted and that linguistic and logical skills are just one form of intelligence within a cluster of several different intelligences. Gardner's theory proposes a number of intelligences that include linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, musical, body kinesthetic, interpersonal, and intrapersonal intelligences. Gardner urges us to adopt a different view of how to educate the mind. He makes the case that individuals have very different minds from each other, and therefore schools should be places where students can develop diverse cognitive styles and strengths. I agree with what Gardner said that the purpose of schools should be to ensure that each student receive an education that maximizes his or her potential. Therefore, I would argue that if it makes little sense for students with logical and linguistic intellectual difficulties to spend such a large amount of their time on subjects focused solely on these two skills. Dr. Howard Gardner makes the case that artistic cognition is at par with scientific cognition and stresses that we need to acknowledge forms of thought other than those held by proponents of the sciences. Gardner is not alone in his thinking. According to this book entitled In Feeling and Form, A Theory of Art, Suzanne Langer argues that there is meaning in art just as there is in science. Langer proposes that we possess a basic human need to symbolize, invent, and invest meaning in our world. Langer goes on to say that it is the property of the human mind to search for and to find meaning everywhere and to create new meanings from experience. She tells us that as humans, we need to engage in our process of symbolic activity in order to make sense of our world. The argument is that thinking in the arts is of equal value with thinking in science, holds substantial implications for students with intellectual disabilities. This is because, ladies and gentlemen, there exists a strong possibility that students who struggle with linguistic and logical tasks may not necessarily struggle with artistic ones. A few studies have shown that skills in the arts that exist independently of verbal and written skills. Claire Gollum proposes in her book Child Art in Context, a cultural comparative perspective that linguistic skills and art making skills may be independent of one another. Gollum carried out a study They examined drawing and copying skills of 9 children with autism, 8 with mental handicaps, and matched them on 5 drawing and copying tasks with an equal number of non-disabled children according to mental age. The tasks were administered over 18 consecutive sessions, yielding 20 drawings and 16 copies per child. The study found that the drawings and copies of children with disabilities were on a par with their non-disabled counterparts, and in some cases, the children with disabilities performed even better. The findings of this study suggest that art making skills may develop along a path that is independent of general IQ. Through his research on adults with brain damage, Dr. Howard Gardner has also come to believe that painting and linguistic skills can exist independently of one another. He proposes that skills in musical and visual tasks could be at least partially disassociated from linguistic skills. In his book, Art, Mind, and Brain by Dr. Howard Gardner, he proposed that, like language, the arts are based on a unique symbol system, whose components can be organized in such a way as to communicate meaning. The arts are integrally and uniquely involved with symbol systems, with the manipulation and understanding of various systems, with the manipulation and understanding of various sounds, lines, colors, shapes, objects, forms, patterns, all of which have the potential to refer, to exemplify, or to express some aspect of the world. According to Kieran Egan in Getting It Wrong from the Beginning, he challenges the methods from Spencer and Piaget that the view that children's minds develop in the same manner as their bodies. Kieran Egan asserts that children's imaginative lives defy the simple of complex argument of Spencer. Like him, he believed that we are able to express through words is not the sum total of what we are experiencing imaginatively. Jean Piaget and Spencer's belief that learning goes from the simple to the complex is evident in current educational practice. In that, we assume the students are not likely to grasp higher concepts if they haven't yet mastered lower ones. It is my belief that Jean Piaget's building block view of learning has negatively impacted students with cognitive disabilities because we assume that they are incapable of grasping more complex forms of thought until they show written or verbal evidence that they have mastered simpler ones. For this reason, we tend to view these students in terms of what we think their mental age is. However, we have to keep in mind that this mental age is being measured primarily in terms of their linguistic and logical intelligence. In our opinion, ladies and gentlemen, we are diminishing these individuals by assuming they are and will be forever childlike in their thinking. Dr. Howard Gardner goes on to suggest that such shared capacities might be marshaled to aid individuals communicating with other persons. In our part, we would offer that akin to learn a language, participation in art activities that can develop the individual's ability to make logical, orderly, abstract, subtle, and humorous sense of the world. It could be that by becoming more proficient in the language of art and art making, individuals with cognitive challenges become better able to communicate and coexist with people of diverse IQ. To close our topic, in a diverse society, coming together in meaningful ways with people who differ linguistically, bodily, religiously, or ethnically is one of the most urgent challenges facing us. Our teachers should strive to create an inclusive art room because, ladies and gentlemen, they understand the impact acceptance, respect, and validation have on students' learning potential. Many of us can relate to the simple fact that feeling valued impacts our self-esteem. So the reason why we discuss art on inclusion is because we need to appreciate arts because as you may know, yesterday we celebrated the very important milestone in the history of our organization as we celebrate the 5th year anniversary of this organization. So we will be back for our other part of the show. Will be our election 2022 updates. Get to know our candidates in the election and some of the announcements, greetings, and more. We'll be back after our short commercial. Now this.
Etymology came from Latin includere, meaning to put in. It is an action including more included within a group of substance. It is a process or policy of providing equal access to opportunities and resources for people who might otherwise be excluded or marginalized, such as those who have physical or mental disabilities and members of other minority groups. Ang sakop ng Tagalog ay pag-meaning. Ito ay nakasama kapag bilang at walang iwan.
Okay. So welcome back to our editorial episode for this day. So now let us now move on to our next part of our show. We'll be discussing to you updates in relation to the upcoming May 9, 2022 national and local elections. Here now is Pulso 2022. Updates on the May 9, 2022 national elections. Okay. Di maglalakad kami. Lacson and Soto unaffected by the motorcade ban in Davao City. Partido Reforma standard bearer Ping Lacson on Wednesday urged Davao City Mayor and Vice Presidential candidate Sara Duterte to reconsider her ban on motorcades in her city and Baluik, saying this is unfair to other candidates. It is ironic that Duterte Carpio, raised fund on holding motorcades, is the one who banned it. He said, in the spirit of fair play, dapat wag siyang i-ban kasi sa ibang lugar nakakapag-motorcade sila. In my opinion, I hope si Mayor Sara i-consider niya ang pag-ban sa motorcade. Tito Soto, who is running as Lacson's vice president, saying their team is unaffected by the motorcade ban in Davao City. Wala naman kaming plano mag-motorcade lalo na sa Davao. Kung kami ay nangangapanya, edi maglalakad kami. They prefer to have actual conversations with voters instead of going around with an area with a board campaign flow. We shy away from motorcade, mas gusto namin dialogue. Hanggat maaari, we want to talk to the people and the people to talk to us. Duterte Carpio announced the ban on motorcades in Davao City because of the recent surge of oil prices caused by the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. Sara Duterte, who is running for vice president, said motorcades may cause traffic jams in Davao City, which may lead to more losses for public utility vehicle drivers. Earlier this week, oil prices ranged already increased from 3 pesos to 5 pesos per liter because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. COMELEC said its local campaign committee is expected to review the move of Sara Duterte. According to COMELEC spokesperson James Jimenez, he said, "This is one of the situations that we sort of anticipated local chief executives might do in the face of the pandemic. We will see what the COMELEC campaign committee, the regional COMELEC campaign committee, says about it." And that concludes our election 2022 updates. Now let us discuss about getting to know our election 2022 candidate, ladies and gentlemen. So our featured candidate for this episode, for this day, is Alan Peter Cayetano. He will be running for senator this year. But before that, for his alma mater, he studied in De La Salle Santiago Zobel for his elementary and high school. He finished his law degree in Ateneo School of Law in 1997. In college, he studied at the University of the Philippines in 1993. Apart from having a senator as a father, it was in UP where he got his first taste of politics. Just a year after he entered UP, he took up political science. He ran for a post in the student council and won. And then, his field of politics started in 1992, wherein he was the former member of the Municipal Council of Taguig from 1992 to 1995. He was the former vice mayor of Taguig from 1995 to 1998. He was the former member of the House of Representatives from 1998 to 2007, and again in 2019. He's the former Speaker of the House of Representatives from 2019 to 2020. He's the former Senator of the Philippines from 2007 to 2017. He's the former Secretary of the Department of Foreign Affairs from 2017 to 2018. And he's the former chairman of the organizing committee of the 2019 Southeast Asian Games from the opening up to the closing ceremony of the activity. So this May 9, 2022, let's vote wisely. So we're done with our other parts of the show. Then we'll have our very important announcements. So here are some of our announcements. As part of our continuing efforts to support our organization, we urge everyone to purchase our products in the Hands in Inclusion Philippines online shop. So the products that we are selling are our One Inclusion Nation t-shirts and the tote bags. For the One Inclusion Nation t-shirts is available in red, black, blue, white, and yellow. All sizes were 275 pesos. And for the Talano Gold colored One Inclusion Nation t-shirts is available from small to large and prices range between 325 to 350 pesos. For the One Inclusion Nation tote bags, it's available in white and black. Sizes are ranged between medium to large, and prices are ranged between 150 to 200 pesos. So, how can you order there? Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be very strict on payments. Payment first before purchase. I repeat, payment first before purchase. We're accepting payments from GCash and we will deliver your ordered products via GoGo Express and LBC as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the HNI Inclusion Philippines online shop is temporarily closed for areas under Alert Level 5, but it will continue to serve in areas under Alert Level 1, 2, 4 only. Its operating hours are from 12 midnight to 11:59 in the evening. For a full list of orders, please visit the Hansen Inclusion Philippines Facebook page or email us at hansen.inclusion@gmail.com. As part of our continuing efforts to support our organization in Hansen Inclusion, we at Hansen Inclusion Philippines needs your help. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, many of us are already been struggling with our financial problems in our organization. So regardless, no matter what, it doesn't really matter if the amount is smaller or larger. It would be appreciated for you guys to help Hansen Inclusion Philippines as well. How can you do this? Scan and donate using GCash on this QR code that is flashed on your screen. Any amount can do, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless, no matter what, it doesn't really matter if the amount is smaller or larger. If you want to do the Barya para sa Inclusion fundraising project, you may donate using any amount of coins in a coin bank or what we call as alcansya, and you may donate it using Union Bank as well. So, please, and please now, please continue to help Hansen Inclusion Philippines for its fundraising project. We're aiming to raise funds in our organization. Let us have the time to rebuild in order for us to have a bigger, better, and a bolder Hansen Inclusion Philippines. Proceeds from the sales in the online shop and for your donations, we are aiming to raise funds and let us have the time to rebuild in order for us to have a bigger, better, and a bolder Hands in Inclusion Philippines. Proceeds from the sales in the organization will go to us here in Hands in Inclusion for the formality, for the expenses, and the financial aid of the members due to the effect of this pandemic. So, guys, for those who did this, really glad you did. And for those who did this, thank you for your continuous generosity and for your support to our organization. So, before we get to this, if you want to buy some accessories from Ate Lady Jean Florese, yung kung gusto niyo bumili ng mga mga ano to, yung bracelets na ginawa ni Ate Lady Jane, you may search L Jane Accessories on Facebook. Ito siya, oh. Ladies and gentlemen. Ito. Here. If you want to buy this, we may message at Lady Jane Florese on her Facebook page, L Jane Accessories. You may contact her through WhatsApp on her number 0916-167-4803, or you may contact her at 0951-791-3194. Or you may message her on Facebook if you're interested to buy. If you have any problems with your PC, your laptop, your desktop, regardless if the brand is Apple, Windows, or if their phone is Android or iOS, phone or tablet, and if you want to download games, movies, and music, then Sir Mark Betita Sir Mark Petita will be here to assist you as well. How can you do this? You may message Sir Mark Petita on Mark PC Laptop Repair Services. You may contact him at 0947 355 and 0947 355 4759. You may message him at Mark Paulo Betita and he'll be happy to assist you as well. So we have some remaining events coming up for the month of March in Best Buddies Philippines. Our events are on March 12 is the Perfect Friendship Pins. March 14 to 17 is Spread the Word Inclusion with Best Buddies Philippines, the Guild of Thomasians Educators, and Special Olympics Philippines. We'll be having the ambassador training with Nexus and Asurion. We'll be having Wellness Wednesday on March 16 within the week of the Spread the Word Inclusion and the Ambassador Training from March 15 to 18. And then after this, on March 19 is the Friendship Bracelets. We'll be having Inclusion Week with Best Buddies Benilde and March 26 Jolly Friendship Jams. So if you want to join these events, for the remaining events for the month of March, follow Best Buddies Philippines on Facebook and Instagram. Send them a message and they will send you the registration form and the link as well. And just a reminder, Best Buddies Philippines is a non-profit, non-denominational, and a non-political organization. We support a clean and fair elections and do not endorse any political party or candidate. As members of the Best Buddies Philippines community, please refrain from endorsing a candidate during the activities of Best Buddies Philippines. In Best Buddies Philippines, make a friend, be a friend. We urge everyone to continue supporting Project Sold Out. We'd like to thank Uriah Gary and Special Achievers for making this event possible. So if you want to check this out, please check the Special Achievers Facebook page as well. If you're feeling hungry for your breakfast, lunch, merienda, or dinner, or any occasion, you may want to order some of the foods from the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant and the Kuya Korea Restaurant. For the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant, our menus are for the Tapa Sobra, Chicken Tocino, Corned Beef Brisket, Homemade Spam, and Beef Salpicao. Sizes are ranged between 265 pesos to 1,450 pesos. For our rice trays, we have beef bulgogi, beef shawarma, beef gyudon, pork broccoli bits, pork belly burn, and charred chicken and boneless fried chicken. Sizes are ranged between solo to large and prices are ranged between 265 pesos to 1,700 pesos. For our sandwiches, we have the pulled roast sandwich, corned beef sandwich, and chicken tocino sandwich, and also the fried chicken sandwiches. So sizes are ranged between solo, regular, large, and box of fours, and prices are ranged between 320 pesos to 1,540 pesos. For our pasta, we have mac and cheese and penne and gorgonzola. Sizes are ranged between solo to large, and prices are ranged between 290 pesos to 1,350 pesos. So how can you order there? In the Sobra Comfort Food Restaurant, head over to the Sobra Comfort Food website, select the dishes you want to order, choose between pick up or delivery, pay conveniently through any of the same integrated payment methods, and your order is confirmed. Expect updates via text or email. For our Kuya Korea restaurant, the menus are for the rice bowls, beef bibimbap, beef bulgogi, pork samgyup, and K-pop chicken. Prices are ranged between 195 to 220 pesos. For the chicken, for the boneless popcorn chicken, sizes are ranged between half to whole, and prices are ranged between 235 to 435 pesos. For the flavors of gochu, ganjang, chicken, and K buffalo. If you want to order there, please check the Kuya Korea website for your orders as well. On March 24, 2022, Thursday, during the Inclusion Week at Best Buddies Benil, the Office of the Vice President for the Salian Mission and Student Life, in collaboration with the Center for Inclusive Education, the Beniljan Student Envoys, and Best Buddies Benil will have a webinar about gender inclusion and safe spaces. So our speakers for the webinar on March 24 Attorney Cheyenne Tiwan Monera and Amber Kiban. So there will be sign language interpreters for the deaf and or the hard of hearing. So if you want to join this event, you may register on Google on the registration form on the CIE or the Center for Inclusive Education Facebook page as well. Lastly, follow Hands in Inclusion Philippines on our social media pages and its digital platforms as well. It would be appreciated for you guys to do this as early as now. Follow us on Facebook, Hands in Inclusion PH, InkluRadio, InkluSports, Inclunihan, and the online shop, Instagram, Hands in Inclusion Philippines, Twitter, HNI Pilipinas, Kumu, HNI Philippines, and subscribe to the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. So guys, for those who did this, thank you very much as well. It's now the time for our shout outs and greetings. Um, to Sir Mark Betita and Lady Jane Teresa, good evening to you and thank you for watching. For our birthday celebrants, we'd like to greet happy birthday to Father Reginald Malikden and also to Vel Baria Mitchell. Shout outs and greetings to my family, to Hansen Inclusion Philippines, Best Buddies Philippines, Best Buddies Benil, and other PWD organizations. Also to my high school and college friends as well, and to those who are watching, it may be a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are in the world. I hope you guys are in a good mood, but if not, you may use this time to improve on your mental health and your well-being as well. To those who are watching us on InkluRadio, thank you very much as well. And if you missed this episode, it will be premiered on the next day on the Hands in Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel for our viewing pleasure. Before we wrap up our show, I would like to share with you our quote for the day. How far you go in life depends on you being tender with the young, compassionate with the aged, sympathetic with the striving, and tolerant of the weak and the strong. Because someday in life you will have been all of these. From George Washington Carver. Okay, so guys, before we wrap up, yesterday we celebrated a very important milestone in the history of our organization. Yesterday we celebrated the anniversary of Hands in Inclusion Philippines. And we like to wish our organization, um, despite all of our challenges and also the fantastic achievements in the history of Health and Inclusion Philippines for the past 5 years. We continue to show that we are showing the true seal of a one inclusive Philippines. We experienced a temporary sign off last June 6, 2020. We haven't lost hope and grace. Despite all our trials, challenges, fake news, and trolls, we are still fighting for rights for persons with disabilities, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday, we celebrated a very historic milestone in the history of our organization as we celebrate the 5th year of this organization. Anti Inclusion Philippines is a community of volunteers that promotes inclusion in our society. It was founded on March 8, 2017 by Roylan Marlang, a Pasayeño self-advocate with autism, was started as Inclusion in Action. And the best gift for us for this 5th year anniversary is that we would like to appeal to all the members of Hands in Inclusion Philippines to observe proper decorum so that we don't have any problems in the future. Let us continue to have a good example. We must learn how to show good attitude and show to be professional, disciplined to other people as well. Your cooperation and your undivided attention is highly appreciated. We also have the right to be considerate, to understand each other, and to be self-controlled. We should continue to act like a neutral person. Maging simple lang tayo, act as a poor. Huwag tayo maging asal elitista. Huwag tayo maging kampante at matigas ng ulo. And the reason why we're doing this is for us doing its best, for being peaceful, organized, and systematic in the organization. Sumunod kayo sa mga alituntunin ng organisasyon at wag lang asa-asa sa mga inuutos mula sa may-ari at sa tagapangasiwa ng organisasyon. At ito ay natin ginagawa para magiging mapayapa at maayos ang organisasyon na ito ng matagal. And the reason why we're doing this is for us to be more decent, to be more competitive, to be organized, and also to be systematic organization in a long-term situation so that we can be at par with other persons with disability organizations that are organized, systematic, and cooperative as well. Apart from your patience and understanding, we need your help and prayers for the anticipated return of HNI Inclusion Philippines in the future as a formal organization and to expect a fresh new start in our organization. So, happy 5th year anniversary, Hands in Inclusion Philippines, and more power to our organization. Okay, that's a wrap for our editorial episode for Wednesday, March 9, 2022. I'll be back again tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. for the Inclusive Report Thursday edition. On behalf of InkluRadyo and Hands in Inclusion Philippines, I am your host, Carlos Miguel Kanahashi, your host for today, and from our technical assistant, Lady Jean Eliasar Florese. May awa ang Diyos, makakaraos po tayo. Sama-sama tayong lalaban para sa pangarap, pamilya, at bayan hanggang sa ating tatak para sa One Inclusion Nation. Ngayong ikalima ng anibersaryo, makatotohanang inklusyon, angat buhay ang solusyon. Sa HNI, posible. Muli, magandang gabi and may the Almighty God bless us all. Pagpalain nawa tayo ng Diyos ng buong may kapal. Pilipinas, God first. HNI, God first. Thank you very much for watching. Have a pleasant evening to all and a goodbye for now. Bye-bye and thank you for watching. Ating profesionalismo ang kinakailangan. Ang ating kooperasyon at ang inyong